You're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1825. Tuesday trivia. Tuesday trivia. That's what we're doing tonight. One more sleep. Tomorrow, join us tomorrow as we will be celebrating 5 years of daily lives. That will be 1,826 lives tomorrow, which is 5 years. So we're celebrating the end of year 5. What are we doing in year 6? I still have no clue. I'm still trying to figure it out. But yeah, we'll have Casey here to join us. He's the one that started the whole thing by issuing me the challenge. So you get to hear more about that. And we're just going to have just a fun conversation about what's happened in the last 5 years. So come join us for that at 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow evening. So Tuesday trivia. What are we going to talk about? Well, I don't know. Trivia stuff. But I have to say, when I was sorting out my books and things, I came across one of my favorite books, The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. David Schwartz. If you have not read this book, this is an awesome, awesome book. It was first published in 1959. Now, what got me is that, and this here looks like it hasn't been read, which it has not been read, because I actually keep several copies of these to give away to people, usually to college graduates or high school graduates. I like to give them copies of this book so that they can go out there and achieve their dreams, because this is such a great book on thinking bigger than what you think. Now, one of the things in this book that surprised me when I first read it, which was back in like 1999, 2000, 2001, somewhere around there, was the fact that this book in here, and if I can find my red copy, it's all tagged and highlighted and everything else, and I could just go, oh, it's right here. But in the book here, remember, this was published in 1959 was when it first came out. He says even today they are talking about, because they're talking about, thinking big, going bigger than you can possibly imagine. And in this book, he talks about the fact that they were talking about building a tunnel under the English Channel connecting England with France. So, and I thought, hang on, didn't that just open? So I had to go check it. And I did double check the date before I come on here tonight. The tunnel between England and France opened on May 6, 1994. This book came out in 1959. That's how many years they were talking about this. They actually began digging the tunnel in 1987 to 1988, and the tunnel was completed in 1991, but it did not open until 1994. So from a dream of thinking big in 1959, he says, even now, and I don't know how long at that point they'd been talking about it, but I can't even do the math right now. It's got a 5 in the end there. 59, 69, 79, 89. So 35 years that talk. Since that talk was, that right? 35? 59 plus, 35 years. Wow, I did that. Wow, got it. Excellent. So for 35 years, back in 1959, they talked about that until the day it opened. I kind of think, so that's talking about thinking big. How were they going to do it? Don't know, but they started talking about it back in the 1950s. So I thought that was kind of cool. So so that's a little bit of trivia for you. This book has a ton of great information. It's been a long time since I read it, so I'm going to actually go back and read it. I might actually start a fresh copy this time, because then because otherwise I get distracted by all my highlights, because every time I read the book, I use a different colored highlighter. And I think I've run out of highlighter colors in the red copy, so I might have to start a new one. We'll keep this till I find the other one. Anyway, what's some other random pieces of information? So we're talking very random here. So I went on and just asked for asked Google. I asked ChatGPT as well about different things, and I came across this thing that had a random trivia generator, and I'm like, what the heck is this? So it basically comes up with things, I guess, but I didn't have time to figure it out. They just give you questions. So I don't know where the answers are on this one. I had it up on my screen to see if I could figure it out on the fly. It's not going to work. Okay, so things like, just basic things that most people know. Some people may not know some of these. Let's see. So in the comments, put some of your favorite little facts of trivia. I'm going to open up the comments here because I can read. I can read Facebook, but I can actually answer on YouTube. So random facts. In 1959, they were talking about building the channel, which opened in 1994. They started digging it in 1987. There you go. There's a random fact for you. Other random facts are things like, a group of crows is called a murder. And I'm like, isn't that interesting? Because they're big black birds and they're often, no, is it ravens? Oh, is it the crows or the ravens? I think it's the crows that are kind of the sinister birds that you see in some of the classic novels. They have the crows. I think it's either crows or ravens that they have in there, which is kind of the sinister bird. Who composed Swan Lake was Tchaikovsky. What is the national animal of Scotland? Think about what is on their crest and everything else. It is a unicorn, is the national animal of Scotland. I like that. Now, I did not know this. The dot over a lowercase letter I is called a tittle, Tittle, a tittle. That's the dot that's over top of an I. And there are 41,642 zip codes in the United States. That's a lot of zip codes. What is the singular of spaghetti? Spaghettio. Interesting trivia fact for you, because I just read this one here. In the movie, in the Hobbit, whenever they show the Shire in Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit, they actually switch it around and make you believe that the east is west and the west is east, because the sun usually rises in the east, but in the movies they've made it look like it's the west. The east is the west. They never explained to us when we were doing the guided tour through Hobbiton how they actually did that, but they said that in the movies, east is west and west is east. I'm like, well, that's interesting. So they said, you think the sun comes up in the east? Not in the movies. It actually comes up in the west, but they make it look like it's coming from the east. And I'm like, I'm not even going to try and figure out that one. What is the largest island in the world? I did not know this. It's Greenland. There was a thing about, where is it? That babies are born with approximately 270 bones, and by the time you hit adulthood, you only have 206 bones. That's because some of the bones fuse together as we grow. That's why you've got to be very careful with their heads, because their skull has not fused together at that point. It still has, it's got gaps between the plates and things. So here is something interesting. I wonder what strawberries are. Botanically speaking, bananas are classified as berries, but strawberries are not berries. Go figure that one out. Yeah. Did you know that Walt Disney was actually afraid of mice? Yet his creation was Mickey Mouse. Let's see, what else have we got here? An ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain. Oh my goodness. Yeah, an octopus has 3 hearts, 2 to pump blood to the gills, and the 3rd pumps it to the rest of the body. That's interesting. And here's one that I actually put into the Love to Read book club Facebook group today, was that Agatha Christie, who wrote 66 novels and There's something like 85 works that she's had published. Yeah, total of 85 that she's had published. And she is actually the third most published author in the third most published in the world. Not author, but, and I think it's, I gotta remember how this goes. Hang on. I gotta go to my Facebook page because I did that as a posting on there today. To see how it's actually would. Agatha Christie's books are the third most widely published behind William Shakespeare and the Bible. She, and if I remember correctly, that she is the most published author. She's the #1 published author in the world. So I thought that was kind of interesting. See, you can learn interesting things about books as well. You can learn all sorts of stuff. The Eiffel Tower is repainted every 7 years to protect it from rust. The tower's official color is called Eiffel Tower Brown. The blue whale heart is so large that a human could swim through its arteries. It's the largest heart of any living creature, weighing around 1,500 pounds. What? That's just kind of 1,500 pounds is the weight of a heart. Gives you an idea of how big a blue whale. I have not seen a blue whale in person, so all I have is pictures. But a 1,500 pound heart gives you some good idea on that. Okay, so the shortest war in history was between Britain and Zanzibar on August 27th, 1896. Zanzibar surrendered after just 38 minutes. Shortest war. I wonder what the longest one is. They don't put that one on here. As of now, only 12 people, all American men, have ever walked on the moon. The last moonwalk was in 1972 during NASA's Apollo 17 mission. That's a long time since somebody last walked on the moon. Okay, now these sorts of trivia just absolutely just sort of like blow my mind. And this is, so this one here, it says here, and this one's from Google. Cleopatra lived closer in time to the invention of the iPhone than to the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Think about that. Cleopatra lived closer in time to the invention of the iPhone than to the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. How wild is that? I mean, stuff like that, when people go, oh, you realize that the time difference from this to this is this, and I'm just like, okay, if you say so. But that's an interesting one. Mount Everest is not the tallest mountain if measured from base to peak. That title goes to Mauna Kea in Hawaii, which is taller when measured from the base on the ocean floor. Now think about that one. And I'm kind of thinking, yeah, because everybody talks about Mount Everest being the highest peak, but when you measure from the base to the top, you know, there's some mountains actually start on the ocean floor. So you got to take that bit into account as well. But still, it's a tall mountain that you require oxygen when you're climbing. The smallest country in the world is the Vatican City, with an area of about 44 hectares or 110 acres. I love trivia. I just love trivia. Well, I can't even pronounce. I'm not even going on that one. Spaghettio, confettio, and graffitio are the singular forms of spaghetti, confetti, and graffiti. We talked about spaghettio on the other. Okay, what else have I got over here on the other one? Let's see. Who else? What else can we find on here? The first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean was Amelia Earhart. Love that. Marie Antoinette was the person who let them eat cake is a famous misquote attributed to Marie Antoinette. Isn't that interesting? Let's see. So I'm just writing down some ones. Oh no, this one cracks me up. Because my mother-in-law and I were sitting watching TV one night, and she would just ask random questions every now and again. She'll see something on the TV that would she'd suddenly just go, oh, da da da, and ask that question. And we're watching Elizabeth Taylor movie. I cannot remember which. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I can't remember which Elizabeth Taylor movie we were watching, but it was in black and white. And she turns to me and she goes, "Is Elizabeth Taylor still alive?" I went, "No." She goes, "Well, when did she die? And how old was she when she died?" So, of course, I looked it up for her. And she goes, "She was married a few times, wasn't she?" She says, "How many times was she married?" And I had to look that up. 8. And she's like, that's a lot of times. I says, "Yeah, but one of the 8 times was actually remarrying one of the other guys that she had previously married and divorced." And she's like, she must have really liked that one. Just random trivia stuff. And of course, I would sit there on my phone and just look it up for her. And she's like, "You looked up that on your phone?" I was like, "Yes, I looked that up on my phone." And she was kind of amazed. Sorry, I totally forgot to turn the sound off on my phone. Some of these are sort of like, really? Okay, now time zones confuse the heck out of me here in the States, because I have to remember that, there's different time zones on. There are some, Arizona doesn't do daylight saving, so I've got to remember that mountain time is a little different, because there's mountain standard time and mountain daylight time. So basically mountain standard time when the rest of the country is in daylight saving is the same as Pacific time, so I always work in that time. But imagine being in Russia. There are 11 time zones. I get confused with how many we have here in the States, like 5, 5, Eastern, West, Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific, and then there's Alaska and Hawaii. Aren't they on separate times on one as well? Which country? Now this will be interesting, because I know that there are two countries that I know of drink a lot of beer, but obviously they don't drink as much as the Czech Republic, because the Czech Republic is known for drinking the most beer per capita. And I know in New Zealand and Australia, there's a lot of beer that gets consumed on both of those. Vikings come from Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. Now, that's interesting, because I've always associated Vikings with Norway. I did not know that Sweden and Denmark were also, Vikings also came from there, because there is a rumor on my dad's side of the family that we actually descend from Vikings. And I do have some Scandinavian, and my DNA shows that I do have some Scandinavian DNA in me. And plus I also have Scottish DNA in me as well. And the Vikings actually settled in Scotland. So, yeah, there's a high possibility on that, which means that if that's the case, it could also be on my mother's side of the family, since most of my Scottish DNA comes from my mum's side of the family. I've got a little bit on my dad's side. So this is why these are so much fun. Eggplant on trees. I did not know that. Okay, I think that's okay. So go to Hollywood for a little bit here. What do Tom Hanks, Michael Keaton, Ellen DeGeneres, and Owen Wilson all have in common? They all voiced Pixar characters. Tom Hanks was Woody in Toy Story. Michael Keaton was the voice of Chuck Hicks in Cars. Ellen DeGeneres was the voice of Dory in Finding Nemo. And Owen Wilson was the voice of Lightning McQueen in Cars. I have to say, I have lost count of the number of times in which I have watched the movie Cars, and the second one and the third one. And I couldn't just go, and I had to learn, thanks to my oldest grandson, I had to learn what characters were in each one, what main characters were in each one. I knew Lightning McQueen was in all three. But if I said to my grandson, can we watch Cars? I go, which one do you want? Which one do you want to watch? I want to watch the one with Finn in there. And I'd go, Finn. Michael Caine played Finn. So that was the spy one. Let's see, that was number 2. So we go and put that one in there. So he would tell me which character he wanted. I want to watch Storm. Oh, that was number 3. So I had to learn the character names for the cars, the main, like I said, the main characters besides Lightning McQueen and Mater. I had to learn the other main character names. I don't know. Yeah, I had to learn their names so if he turns around and said, I want to watch Storm, I knew I had to go and put Cars 3 on. Or if I want to watch Finn, I had to go put Cars 2 on. So yes, there's another little bit of trivia from me to you. And with that, we are out of here. It was just a short, well, not really a short one tonight. But remember to join us tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Casey's going to be here, and we are celebrating 5 years of Facebook lives in some form or another. Yes, no, they've all been on Facebook. So yeah, 5 years, 1,826 days in a row. And there was one night I almost missed it. It was 11:45 at night. I was brushing my teeth, getting ready to go to bed, and I suddenly went, have I done my live tonight? And I had to quickly finish my teeth, run out to my computer, turn my computer on. Actually, I think I had the laptop at that time. Turn the laptop on, run to my page to see that I had not done a live that night. So quickly make myself look presentable for the camera. And I went on here like 5 minutes later and got the show over and done with before midnight. Otherwise, I was going to have to start at number 1 all over again. So I did have an almost missed one, but got it done in time. And yes, so there is one out. I'll have to go find which. There's a lot of fun stuff that's happened over the years. Lots of stuff we've talked about, but you'll hear more about those stories tomorrow evening. So come join us tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Back here, we'll be on Facebook, live on my page on Facebook. We'll be live on my YouTube channel, and we're going to have some fun tomorrow night. I still haven't figured out exactly what we're going to do, but I haven't figured out what I'm going to do in year 6. Am I going to continue on to year 6? Probably. It's become a habit. Well, after 5 years, you'd think it would, wouldn't it? But with that, join us tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Like I said, we're going to have Casey here. We're going to be celebrating 5 years of daily lives, 1,826 days, over 3,000 videos. Yes, because, and I think it was 2020 during the lockdown. I started doing 2 a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And then I went back. I'm not sure how long I did that for. Then I went back to doing 1 a night, but I know I've got over 3,000 lives on my YouTube channel between Helen's Great Adventures and then 2 years ago we switched it to Before the Dirt Nap. So yeah, combine the two, we've got over 3,000 videos of 1,825 days. Tomorrow we're adding 1,826 days. So catch us tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific and come along. There's going to be some surprises there. I'm working on those. And we'll catch you tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific for our 5-year celebration. So we'll see you then. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening.